I've listened to it so much.
Have you been on any podcasts ever?
I used to do one of my own,
Yeah.
and it was too hard to organise people, but it was really fun while I did it. It was all the characters that I'd met through my travels. It's an interesting one, right? Because like you want people that want to be on a podcast. Otherwise, it can be really hard to drag someone through this if they're not, if they're not willing to talk. I had some people on there really interesting.
Yeah.
I did this guy, Mark Baker, who...
Where's it at? It still exist?
I've still got all the files.
Do you own the
website
masters?
Might still be up. Yeah, but I've still got... But this guy, he was one of the guys that invented skateboarding, those like Dogtown Z-Boys kind of guys.
I'm going to Tony Hawk April 7th here with Rodney Mullen.
What is it? Like a
TED Talk, I guess, or something.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. They're going to talk.
They're just speaking?
Yeah.
Huh.
But it's on my birthday, so I was like, fuck yeah, I'll go to that.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. It's the end of intro. Are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
What's up, bitches?
Hey, it's the God Awful Gospel Hour. And we are here with special guest Nathan Johnson.
God awful. God awful. God awful.
The happiest surfer in comedy. This, we like oddly specific things here. This is the #1 South Austin Star Wars Final Fantasy video game comedy podcast of all time in the world ever.
That's actually how I found it on Google.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
So the happiest surfer in comedy is good. You don't get a lot of unhappy surfers, and you don't get a lot of happy comedians. So you've cornered some market there.
Yeah.
You've triangulated something.
I put that in there, the bit about surfing, just because I think I put it in there when I was in Hawaii, and Hawaii has a really growing like comedy scene, and
Nice.
it's really cool. And I was hoping, and Hawaii,
Retirement goals.
yeah, hell yeah. But also to go there and surf they're pretty welcoming, except at like the best spots kind of thing. And so I was hoping that a surfer from Hawaii saw that in my profile one day and was like, "We'll take you surfing, bro."
So how do you get... I've seen a lot of these, Dogtown type locals only bra situations on the water, but it's only ever been like cutting each other off. Like there are guys that know how to fucking fight in the water,
fuck yeah.
which is insane.
I'll
To
tell
beat
you
somebody up
this.
in the water.
I'll tell you this about surfing, specifically Hawaii. So, it's linked in, and you can kind of see why it makes sense, but in Hawaii it's linked in to their culture because they invented it, right?
Yeah.
And white people got there, started fucking shit up and said you're not allowed to surf anymore. So they're very used to fighting, like real fighting for it's part of their culture. And then you go there, and people's perspective on this can be what it is, but they certainly feel, and I would agree rightly, that it's still a big part of their culture and they're happy to fight for it.
Yeah.
And good on them.
Yeah.
I have
It's
a...
like trying to go to New Zealand as a white dude and haka dance. Like, you don't
Yeah.
do that here.
Well, not unless you grow up there. But my old housemate, good friend of mine, guy named Kobe, they made you ever see the documentary The Bra Boys?
No.
So it's
I've
this
seen
Australian gang. Eric Banner, amazing. There's an Australian gang called the Bra Boys, and I used to live with one of the brothers that started it, and he helped his brother get away with killing a hitman. It's this whole thing. But they were all professional surfers, and they're really good friends with all the Hawaiian heavies.
Sounds like Animal Kingdom.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Surf gangsters.
Surf
It
gangsters.
was like a gangster family. I think it was Australian first, and then they made an American
Really?
San Diego version of it because it was Ben Mendelsohn and a bunch of other
Interesting.
psychos. Dude, psycho Aussie shows are rad. Have you seen the In-Between, Mr. In-Between?
I haven't. I've seen clips. That's the bald
it's
guy.
so
He's the
good.
killer.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
it's
like the
so good.
Sopranos of
Yeah.
Australia. And the subtitles say Kookaburra warbling intensifies while he's walking down the street. So if you're a bird nerd, you're like, fuck yeah, I love this. Specific bird calls outs.
It's like if Bill Burr was an Australian hitman.
Right. Yeah.
Is who he is. He's so good.
Yeah.
And he's kind of weird looking, and that he just uses that. Like,
Yeah.
like his weird lookingness or whatever is such part of his character. It's awesome. It's really good.
It's the bald dude with the mustache, right?
Yeah.
That guy used to be. I'm pretty sure, because like I said, I've only watched it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that guy used to do one of our kids' shows back when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm pretty sure on like a play
Like
school.
Bill Cosby.
Right, right. Nice.
Yeah.
You have to have seen every Australian thing ever.
God no, we make so much trash. Do you know that was the epicenter of the movie scene before Hollywood, before World War? Might have been before the wars, but there was a big event around the early 1900s, and Australia lost all its funding. Pretty sure because they had to put the money into the wars, and that's when Hollywood started.
Okay.
Oh, really? I'll
Yeah,
have to
they
look
used to
that up.
make all the movies down there.
Who's the
Nice,
skateboarder that you interviewed that invented skateboarding?
Me?
Yeah, you said you had him on your podcast.
Oh, Mark Baker.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark Baker, who was even more well known. So he went from there to run nightclubs and stuff in New York in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
Fascinating guy. Really, really cool.
Was he like the guy that went back and took the egg crate off of the scooter and like Marty McFly? Was the first one to make a skateboard.
Oh, he was with those guys. He had a really, he was like broken home, like a lot of those.
Yeah.
What's the place called? Not San Clemente. Down by the beach in LA. Anyway, a lot of them
Venice.
broken Venice.
Venice Beach, yeah.
Down that area. Yeah. Just
So I heard in Australia, if you eat ass, you have to swirl your tongue counterclockwise. Is that true?
I haven't experienced that yet, but
'Cause everything goes around the other way down there.
everything goes backwards.
Yeah.
What was
And-
the comedy scene like where you came from? Was there anything?
I've never done it, so I haven't lived in Australia for 15 years, 16 years.
Okay.
I've only been doing comedy pretty much since we moved to Panama, and I've gone up to London, England, and to Toronto a lot. I've done it a lot in Florida. I spent like 4 or 5 months in Florida last year doing
Okay.
comedy. So, yeah, just
What part of Florida?
Tampa,
Yeah, Tampa's got a
Ybor
thing.
City.
Yeah, they've got a couple things up there.
Yeah, they've got
Some
it's
yucks.
Yeah,
Whatever those clubs are called.
they've got an amazing one. They've got a few amazing ones, some really great ones, but there's kind of a legendary one called The Gimmick,
Yeah.
and it's in someone's house now. I think it got moved from another spot down the road because some people got shot.
Nice.
That's what someone told me.
That's how you know it's good.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a good club.
Apparently it was a couple of comedians, and they were doing like some crowd work, and the comedian in the crowd didn't like it, and it
Yeah.
ended up, someone got shot.
But that's a Jim Jeffries move.
Yeah.
He's milked that guy, right up on stage and punching him in the face for
yeah.
Yeah, that was
talking
in
shit
England.
about guns for years. He put it in Legit. Did you watch Legit? His show that he had.
No.
He put it in his TV show and all that stuff. And it's an old clip that you can look up of some
Yeah.
dude just runs up on stage and punches Jim Jeffries in the
Badass.
face.
There definitely is a brand of Australian comedy. Yahoo Serious for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee was the inspiration for Trump. Trump started grabbing girls by the pussy because he saw Crocodile Dundee do it. He's just checking to see if they're trans.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Trump should have just said that. I'm Crocodile Dundee. That's why I'm grabbing everybody. Every other culture has its own word for sluts, like skanks and slags. What's the Australian one?
Mum.
Mummy.
No. I love my mum. Just so did the football team. No.
That's Tame Impala, right?
slut-
They used to be called Mums something. Or no, the DMAs. Have you heard of them?
No.
They're an Australian Oasis Stone Roses ripoff band. They're really good at that. And they're from this Dirty Moz, this bar called Dirty Moz, so they're called the DMAs.
Interesting.
So yeah, your mom being a slut is a big thing down there.
Whoa.
It's everywhere.
Don't call my mum a slut.
One's mother being slutty universally is a thing.
Sharing the coochie.
And then it seemed like comedy moved to New Zealand for a while, where there was the Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords. Legendary.
And then now it's turned into What We Do in the Shadows. That's a whole nother
Well, it's
brand.
pretty much just Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. Those are the ones who really brought it out of there.
I'm such a big Taika
Yeah.
Taika Waititi fan. But he
Love those
every
TTs.
interview I see him in, he seems like he's a big fan of himself as well.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
he's gotten so fart sniffy.
It's
Oh my god,
wild,
he's gotten bad.
dude.
After Thor and Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
Those two together. And then he just kind of started getting a little bit full of himself, and you can kind of tell now.
Well,
Starting
ever-
to dress like Johnny Depp stuff.
Yeah, will you ever see him in that movie? I'm pretty sure it's Ryan Reynolds.
Or he's like the free guy. Or whatever.
Yeah, and Taika plays. He's like the chief, or like he's the head of this tech company.
yeah,
but he's
head of
very.
the company. Yeah,
He's kind of becoming like that in real life, where
Yeah.
he walks around.
He started
you
method
think he's-
acting and didn't stop ever.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm stuck now in this.
Method acting as God, and now he's
Speaking
like,
of
I
Johnny
am.
Johnny Depp is still a pirate now from then. Never stopped. I love this. This is my life. So I met you at Lucky Duck. You
Yeah.
bought chicken for everyone, and I was like, wow, that's very impressive. And then they were like, it's Dollar Wings night, and I was like, you just bought everybody one wing. That's not a big deal.
One wing each. Yeah, I also negotiated for 50% off if I bought 5.
Ooh, Jew move. Teach me your ways. And then, so I was looking at you, and I was talking to you, and I was bored with my material.
Yeah,
And it was at the bottom of this hill, so I was like, I'm just going to sit with Nathan
that was
and
hilarious.
turn these one-liners into questions and see if it works.
Yeah.
And it worked so well that people started kind of gathering around and filming it. It turned into a thing, which is my favorite thing to have happen at open mics. Because
Hell
a lot
yeah.
of open mics are just the same shit over and over. But sometimes something fucked up will happen.
Yeah,
And if enough time goes by and nothing fucked up happens and I'm near the end of the list, I'm starting to think, like, what can we do to fuck this up?
yeah.
We have to do something crazy. But then you got more chicken. So I was looking at you and thinking about interviewing you. And then you went and got more food. So there's
Oh.
this film of me asking you questions, and you're like, "Yeah, mate."
Oh fuck, my bad.
I should have told you beforehand, but I didn't want to do that either.
You could also, while I was eating, you could have just made a joke and said, "Hey, stop fucking eating
You
until we're
fat
done."
fuck.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
You already bought everyone chicken. Didn't you have any of that chicken?
Yeah,
That's good chicken there.
yeah. It is good chicken.
That place rad. Have you been more times?
Yeah, I went this Wednesday, just gone. It was raining, so there was no crowd, but it was kind of good. I've got this story I've been working on, so it was good to kind of do that to nobody. And
There's usually a crowd there. That's the thing. Is
yeah,
what I liked
yeah, but
about
it was raining.
And it's a bump mic. Apparently, you can get bumped around a lot.
Yeah, we got educated on that last week by Heath Underhill.
Educate me.
Apparently, no matter where you are on the list, if you know the guy that runs the mic, you can get moved to wherever you want to be on the list. And if you want to be early, so you can have all the people there. So Heath got me bumped up there. And
Right.
I'd never been there. I don't know anybody. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and I put my name on the list, and he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm doing an open mic." And he was like, "I'll get it." And he went and talked to the host. And I
Oh,
was
cool.
like, "Sweet, I got fucking Johnny Hollywood over here helping me."
I mean, there's kind of good, like, I don't know. I like, people get really in their feelings about it, but I do like that there's a recognition of people that are trying to, putting effort in. You
And
know?
you should stay till the end. It's comedy etiquette. It's kind of the comedy mafia.
Yeah.
But
Did I
there's
not?
so
I
many
normally
mics.
do. Yeah.
So if you need stage time, especially if you spent all of Monday waiting 4 hours for Kill Tony and got no stage time, you have to make up for that wasted day on the rest of the days of the week.
I don't get the Kill Tony thing, if I'm being honest.
They moved it. It used to be really way cooler. It was upstairs from Shakespeare's, and it was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Foot Clan hideout of comedy.
Yeah.
They had like a bar in the middle and poker tables and video games and a stage, and you could practice your mic.
Yeah.
And then they moved it to that booty bar where it's at now. You can't even hear yourself think. And there's people that can't afford to drink, so they're all out front, and it's just turned into like
There's a
Right.
definite there's a vibe of like the people who hang out on Hollywood Boulevard dressed as superheroes.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that, you
Right.
know. Now, I would say that 20 or 30 of the people are people who are like actual like people grinding it out, and people who've been on the show before.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it reminds me of like in like medieval times or something, where all the peasants would be like begging, they're like, we will let one of you come into the castle. It feels a little bit like that.
When it also, to me, I just don't see it as the golden ticket that everyone is clamoring
Right.
for. You know,
if it
like
goes
you're
well,
not.
if something crazy happens.
Well, yeah, but it's so like a lot of the people that I see in there lining up that I see at other open mics.
Yeah.
If something crazy happened to them, they're not ready for it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like so many of them go in there and they're like, yeah, I just got to get through this Kill Tony and he's going to see me and he's going to do this and that. And I'm like, you don't have material. If he was like, hey, come open for me in
Yeah.
And they
Boise,
have to
Idaho
take an
next
improv
week.
class too for the interview.
What?
You have to take an improv class to be ready for the interview.
Oh right.
You have to
Yeah.
make that funny.
I've never
And
watched it. I didn't.
Yeah, you get interviewed. Everyone gets interviewed afterward. That's like Johnny Carson.
Ah, gotcha. So
Like,
you go up, you do a minute, and then
Yeah.
they interview you.
Yeah, and they try. He
Gotcha.
tries to pull something interesting out of people, and you'll usually find
Ah,
some weird threesome butt sex story from the. So, he's good at it.
dude, I'd crush that bit. I've got a
Yeah.
I got a bunch of good stories for
But
that.
it's only worth it to do it if the place that you wait is cool. Because the
Yeah.
whole time I was there, I did it last month, and it was awesome fun being up there with everybody in the
Yeah.
hideout. But then they moved it, and me and Donnie and Heath were sitting there like, this fucking sucks for 2 hours. Like, why are we here? It's not. There's no way. It's a 5 in 200 chance of them calling your name. You can't even hear anything anyway because they're banging hip hop shit, and it's like, it's not
Right.
good. It's not good hip hop.
Yeah,
it's
like,
recent hip hop.
I mean, I'm old, right? I'm in my 40s now, but
Wait, you don't look. You look way older.
Thank you. I'm going for the mature look.
Hard living.
Yeah,
Nailing it.
I actually dye my hair gray.
Oh,
Just a couple of them.
Yeah, so we were in that place and they were playing like twerking dance music as loud as they could at 8:00 at night on a Monday, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
yeah.
This is
I'm too
ridiculous.
old.
That shit drives me insane.
Yeah, and you want to be able to write jokes and think about just in case you get
But
called.
then again, I wouldn't even do that on a Monday night when I was like 25.
No.
That was crazy.
Everything. I
You've
don't.
always
I
hated
never
everything.
understand. You've always been a cunt. I never understand how people. So I ran a bar that was more of a backpacker bar. Like when I started there for 50 cents, you could get a double vodka and Red Bull.
Nice.
Like
Yep.
it was a real backpacker bar. Actually, it was cheaper than that. Anyway, music it's all time and place.
Yeah.
And I never understand when you walk into places and it's like just so out of time with, like you go into a place that's trying to have dinner and it's and you're like, who the fuck is this for?
Well, they were playing music like a bunch of hot girls were going to start dancing, but there were no hot girls in there. It's like
Just
if they
you.
walk in, turn it on, but not if
Yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah.
Like, so have you? What's your favorite other mic around that you've been to so far here?
I did Thursday night. I did Austin Beer Works, and it was a bit of a drive out there. I got to live with another comedian, Ray Dean, who's amazing. But it was 7 minutes and in
Nice.
a beautiful location as well, right on Sunset. So
There's
it
a
was
lot of
like,
nice breweries, brewery
I bet.
comedy. Our friend Jack Schutze came on the show. He runs a bunch of brewery shows down Buda and Dripping Springs and stuff.
Yeah, if you ever want to do hill country stuff,
Hell yeah.
there's stuff going on all the way down like south down to San Marcos, and
Cool.
there's lots of different places out there.
I'd honestly now drive for, like, if it's 7 minutes or more, because, like, I understand why they do it. There's a lot of comics and that, but, like, and I have good jokes. I have some short jokes and that I can fit. I can do it 1 minute. But,
Yeah.
like, I got into comedy to tell stories.
Right.
Yeah.
And, like, generally I need 5 minutes
Yeah.
easy to, like, just
Develop
get
a
it.
story, right?
Yeah, and just to, like, to get into, like, a lot of my stories, there's a lot of moving. Like, I got flogged once in Singapore because they still have corporal punishment, right?
Yeah.
And a friend of mine pretended to kidnap this girl in the airport.
A fun time.
He got 9 months in jail,
Yeah.
and the rest of us, there were 8 of us with him, and we all got sentenced to a beating, right?
Yeah.
Now that's
Wait, are you like the spray can kid?
that from like years ago.
from like the early
Yeah,
90s. the guy
they
came?
beat the
Scars?
shit out of us.
Yeah.
Nah, it
Doesn't
doesn't.
bamboo.
It's like a rat.
You have been caned in Singapore.
Yeah, 23 times.
Jeez.
But so
Was
like
your 23rd birthday?
no, but I came on the 19th stroke. No, but so that right, like that
Everything after that was just bonus.
bonus. That the way that I just gave that to you is like the bare thing of that story, right? So
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's
if
a
I
build
have
up and
more
a
time,
climax.
if I have more time, the girl that he pretended to kidnap, the whole reason she was the target was because I've got this bit where I'm like, my friends have morals, and just like you don't call someone a dickhead if they actually have a dick on their head,
Yeah.
because that would be rude.
Yeah.
You don't pretend to kidnap someone unless they have their own personal security.
Yeah.
This woman had 3 bodyguards and was dressed in kind of like silk and like looking really regal, and she was a Thai princess. We
Yeah.
didn't know. We found out later.
Well, she was asking for it.
She was
Shouldn't have been
asking
dressed
for
that way.
But also,
Should have been flanked that way.
so like those guys have to go back to Thailand and face the king and everyone and be like, yeah,
Yeah.
someone got hands.
Oh my
So, you know, like
God.
there's my overall point is this.
You caused an international incident?
yeah.
It was news. Like we were there to work for a oil company as
Yeah.
well, and so they're seen as like oil company workers get in trouble there all the time. The oil rigs pay for them to kind of get out of it,
Oh, okay.
and so it was seen as this like white guys coming here just shitting on everything. And,
Bogan move.
Yeah, full bogan move. These cunts. But yeah, so like with doing the comedy, like I want to tell these stories.
Yeah.
And in 3 minutes, it's so hard to, because people want to laugh as well. Like, you got to, for people, most people know now, I think, but like, you can't just get up there and start telling a story because the crowd's like, why the fuck are you telling us this?
Well, we've got all the time in the world here if you want to record some stories and have them. give them to you.
Yeah, I can tell some, but yeah, with
Depends
the
how you
comedy
want it.
thing,
Do you
it's-
want it on stage or do you want it on audio first? You know, you can
Oh,
move
I
it
don't give a
around, put it
fuck.
on YouTube, whatever you want to do with it.
I don't care. It's
This is the South Austin Podcast Studio.
Yeah.
this is. I love the tequila that you've got here. It's good shit. What else you got? I
So
don't
you-
see a dildo. That's always the worrying thing when you go to someone's house
And they
you
just have
don't
one
really
sitting
know.
out.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah.
why is that?
It just says so many things, doesn't it?
A lot. Is it a double-ended one? Like, is this teamwork? Is it one of those ones with the suction things that you put on the wall? Like, are we taking turns? It can go so many ways.
So you went to Woodrow's. We were looking for you. We were trying to get you to come join us at this miserable booty bar experience on Monday.
Oh,
But you were actually getting to do stand-up, hopefully. But then you went to the wrong Woodrow's.
I know. I was at the one downtown.
But then you went to the Woodrow South, right? Because I saw you were at the turtle races.
Thursday night, yeah. So that was after I did that mic out at the Austin Beer Works.
Okay.
A couple of us went to. We did another mic in between at Dogwoods, and then we went out to the turtle races, which was an experience.
What was it? Was there an MC?
There was an MC. He was one of those guys that looks like he's those Christian. What are they called? Everyone's giving them shit at the moment, but you know those like
Youth
Christian
group pastor,
yeah,
child
those-
molester, worship
Yeah,
leader?
one of those cunts.
Yeah.
He looked exactly like that, and he had the vibe of it, and he's like shouting at the crowd, like, all right, let's go. And the crowd, everyone's kind of like, okay. And he's like, more energy. And everyone's like,
Shut the
this
fuck
is,
up.
yeah.
It's the I don't around here we have the good morning everyone, and the people he's like, I didn't hear you, I said good morning, we could do better than that. Like that immediately makes everyone in the crowd hate you.
Well, that's what we have here at the beginning of every conference at every hotel is, who's come here from the farthest away?
Yeah.
Is anyone here from
Fuck
Florida?
yourself.
Is anyone here from England? Is anyone here from as far away as Australia?
Holla. I just
Who
don't-
cares?
Like if that's your job, it's one of those things that, like, that's your job to get everyone fired up. But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way to do that, you have to lead by example, and you can't just tell people to feel something. You can't just shout at people, get excited. It's like,
Yeah.
why? For
A lot
what?
of people blame the energy in the room. It's you. You are the energy in the room. You have the fucking microphone.
Oh man,
So
when you
do
see
that.
comedians
Yeah.
and they're like this, oh, you guys, you know, like, come on, guys, laugh or whatever. It's like, tell a funny joke.
Yeah, the room is shitty because you're shitty. You made the room shitty with your shitty attitude.
Yeah.
You were an entire source of energy yourself.
Yeah. We're mirroring you.
Yeah.
Have
Right.
you seen the kid getting beat up by the koala video?
No.
My wife, I told her that you were coming here, and she was like, "Make sure he watches this kid getting fucked up by this koala bear."
Okay, I'll have
His
to watch
parents
it.
are like trying to save this child, and they're screaming, and the koala bear is like, "Fuck these kids!"
I'll have to watch it. Are we watching? Are you?
We can do it now.
Oh,
actually.
snap,
we
son.
have we
Yeah.
have a
Fucking-
situation going on here.
Hell yeah, we
I've been
do.
working on this studio, man.
It's great.
Let me. Pull
And then
it up
Shane
here.
Gillis has a bit about the muscular.
Yeah, the
kangaroo.
kangaroo. Find the guy
Oh, yeah.
fighting the roo.
Is there more of
Yeah.
those? Is there a bunch of those there? They all look like that.
Yeah. Kangaroos. Yeah. I mean, get out of the city, you'll see them everywhere.
Is it
and
a
most of them
kid?
are jacked.
Let's take a break real quick so I can run to the restroom, and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Scrub, scrub here, scrub there. Whether you're white or bronze, a man can wash another man in the belly of Mandeville's.
gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Get some cups.
Why did you do this to me?
Hop in the car. Get some cups.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off there.
Oh, we've only got one cup.
Ta-ta and farewell.
So I guess getting in the car.
One cup, look. They even broke.
So you you haven't been in Australia for like 15 years, you said. So did you move to Bali from Australia, or what was your situation? How did you move there?
Yeah, Bali was really the first place. Like, I worked on an oil rig in Singapore before that. Early 20s, I was working on oil rigs, and I got sent up to Singapore.
Okay,
Got in a ton of trouble there.
Did you do that thing where they wrap the chain around it and you see the video?
Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, we don't use the chain. But
Every
that's-
time a woman says, like, raising a child is the hardest thing in
Oh,
the world, I'm
God.
like, look at this fucking video of this guy almost dying
Yeah.
over and over again
with
all
a
day.
smile on his
Yeah.
face, covered in oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking like a bird that's fallen
Being a
into an oil
teacher is
spill.
the hardest job in the world.
Raising children.
So, yeah, we're just going to ask you about every Australian TV show ever.
I know.
How to speak Australian, drink a lot of Fosters.
I know about every Australian TV show ever.
So I heard that they call abos badunkadunks. Because when you run over them, that's the sound it
Wait,
makes.
stop. You can't
Like
call
a
them
speed-
abos.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Dunkadunks? That's worse. It's because it's about getting run over.
I haven't heard that one, but abos is definitely super offensive.
Oh.
But you didn't know.
I
You
didn't
know.
use a hard O. I use a soft O.
Yeah. No. That's amazing.
Name of the episode: The Australian N-word.
Yeah.
The A word.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Sorry.
it's interesting. The
Indigenous.
Aboriginal
Okay.
Aboriginal is
Okay.
good. Black Australia, like there's a lot of stuff for them.
Australians.
Hey,
Australians.
Australians. It's kind of cool one. When
Yeah,
they're
I heard they
like-
call them Dunkadunks because you run over them in the outback and you just keep going, and it's like a speed bump. Like they're just lying down everywhere.
I've never heard that.
And
But,
Bogan, they didn't have Bogans where you grew up. You grew up in Bumfuck, right?
Yeah, there's bogans everywhere.
Okay.
Bogan's just out.
Just
It's,
redneck?
it's a bit it's a bit different to redneck because I think rednecks is more specific. Bogan's just a pretty general term for
Bush people.
just for Australians that are into
Oh.
like
Well, it's bro
hard
culture, right?
Australiana. So like, it's definitely like, I mean, here you'd take all the Florida people, you'd take the rednecks, and you'd take these guys down south, and you'd all roll that into one.
Okay, yeah.
It's the Australian flag tattoo and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bro culture.
Yeah, it's I mean, it depends. Like bro culture to me is more like the working out and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Bogans don't work out. Bogans are like the chavs of England.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
probably the best thing that
Yeah.
we would understand.
Are you familiar with Jason Ellis? Do you like his stuff?
Jason Ellis,
Skateboarder.
No.
He's an Australian skateboarder.
Oh, okay,
He's had addiction issues. He's got a podcast. He's hilarious. He does stand-up comedy.
cool.
He was married for a while, but now he's bi. So he talks about his wife in the same sense as like getting blowjobs from dudes. He's crazy. He's got all these tattoos on his face, and he's like, all the skateboarders that think they're cool or hard or worldly or wild, he just blows them all out of the water. He's like, I'm gay, I'm married, I have tattoos on my face, I'm addicted to heroin. I don't want to hear your little story about skateboarding.
I got tricked into sucking a dick once.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I used to live with this guy who was actually he's trans woman now. It was Jay when I was living with him, and he was a gay male prostitute, and he used to come home the happiest man in the world every day. And one day I was like 24 or something, and I was fucking high as a kite. I'd been in a bender for a few days, and I said that retarded 24-year-old. I was like, "How do you know you don't like women if you've never been with it?"
Yeah.
And he hit me with, "How do you know you don't like dick
Yeah.
if you've never did it?" So I sucked his dick.
Reversal.
Yeah, hit me with the reversal. And I got like 10 seconds in, and he tapped me on the head and was like, you're not. You got to stop." And I was like, "Yeah, this is terrible." And he was like, "Yeah, no, this
You know how
is,
you know you're not gay? Because you can't suck dick very good.
you know it's bad if a guy stops you and is like, hey,
Yeah.
You did it on purpose.
you're
You,
turning me
you
straight."
gave him a toothy BJ to make sure that you weren't gay forever. Toss
Sec-
Pappas, that's another Australian skateboarder. So you moved here to do comedy.
I moved here to do comedy. Yep.
It's like Beavis and Butthead do America. You're going to do comedy in the butt.
I'm going to do all the butts of comedy. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I've got this joke about being called a racist ass N-word, and the what happened and kind of the whole premise of the joke is I was like, that's a weird thing to be called as a white guy. It's even more weird to be called that by a Chinese person. And Kojak, like when I first started going into the joke, he was only black dude in the crowd, and he like looked up at me, and I was kind of like, oh, I got him. Like, because I know where the joke goes, and I know there's nothing racist about it, but you need people to pay attention, right? And as soon as I go into the joke, he sat up, and I'm like, got him.
We have Chiaki on the show. She's Japanese. And
Right.
to say the words to run away in Japanese is nigerunda yo.
No, it's even closer. It's nigaro.
Yeah.
Nigaro. Like
Yeah.
that.
So every time we started trying to get her to talk about scary things and like, did you run away? Say run away. Say run away again.
Yeah. It's I obviously living in Panama, everyone speaks Spanish, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
negro, everyone negro
Yeah.
for black, everything, you know, and
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
order a
some-
beer. You got to get a Negro Modelo somewhere.
yeah.
So how long have you been in Panama?
We moved down there 3 months before the pandemic started. So what
So
year
you
was
were
that,
in
2000?
Yeah, you were in Panama for the pandemic.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Fucking great for us because
Yeah.
of white privilege. But so no, it was of all the countries I know of, it had the strictest lockdown for 10 months. You
Really?
couldn't leave your house, even if so. Like imagine, like you couldn't go in your yard. So people had kids, people had dogs, shit like that. You had to stay inside, get arrested if you go outside.
Really?
Men could go shopping 2
Were you
days
there when
a
that
week.
boat went sideways and fucked everything
Hold
up?
up. Just
Sorry.
I'm talking over there. Fucking looking down on us. No, what? No, that boat going sideways in the canal, that was in Europe.
That was in Egypt.
Yemen.
That was
or
the Suez
something.
Canal.
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. If you're going to interrupt, at least get it fucking right.
I can't keep my canals straight.
I did not know that Panama's lockdown was that crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like that was something that just never reached like my news feeds and shit.
Yeah, Panama's really interesting with that because of the American influence, and there's a lot of stuff that does go down there that doesn't hit the news here. Like they had riots down there at the end of last year because a Canadian mining company got caught bribing the government. That's a really dumbed down way to
wow.
look at it. But full riots, like the country was in shutdown for like weeks, like full
Yeah.
riots.
Yeah.
And I was in Florida. I got stuck in Florida at the time. I couldn't go back. And I started talking
like
about
jail.
doing stand-up comedy, and everyone was looking at me like, what? Like, right now? And I'm like, yeah, right now. Like, Panama's in, like, this lockdown thing. It was state of emergency. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, shit just doesn't kind of get out.
Yeah.
We're having a fish fry tomorrow for Easter with my family.
Mm-hmm.
My wife got a bunch of seafood. She got some shrimp,
Cool.
and we're having a barbecue.
That's great.
So we might throw some shrimp on the barbie,
Hell yeah.
which is what I used to call dick slapping a blonde woman in the face. Throw some shrimp on the barbie.
That's phenomenal.
I had to mow my lawn this morning, and my wife was like, "Oh, you don't have to mow." It was such a production getting the lawn mowed. Mine didn't work. I had to borrow the neighbor's mower. And then she was like, "Oh, you didn't have to mow the whole lawn like that. I just thought we were going to scare the snakes away. I was trying to scare any snakes away because the grass is tall." And I was like, "You fucking know how to yell at people. Go walk around the yard and yell. And the snakes will leave. Snakes run away if you walk around. I don't have to mow the lawn." But I was using the neighbor's mower. I was supposed to clean out the yard first. The grass was so tall I missed a couple cans. So I'm running over aluminum cans. He's my next door neighbor's 10 feet away. I'm like, is he in his backyard hearing me fuck up his blade?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? He drinks over here. These might be his cans. So I checked one, and it was a Modelo Especial. And I was like, Juan, that's your beer anyway, man. This is your fault.
Should have thrown him back over his fence.
So let's write some jokes. You ready?
No.
Derek Chauvin. Chauvin?
Oh,
Who's his
yeah,
name?
yeah. That's the guy that just got drafted, right?
No, he's the guy that...
Yeah. The prison league.
Yeah, he got stabbed 24 times.
Wait, what?
in jail.
No. Oh shit.
He's the guy that kneeled on
Yeah.
his neck.
Ah, and so they've stabbed him.
He was the reason that we rioted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you can guess the color of the skin of the person that stabbed him.
Oh yeah, probably prison colored.
Yeah.
So the joke that I'm working on is if he was kneeling because he heard the American national anthem and he was trying to show solidarity with Kaepernick and kneel during the song, and the guy's neck was just in the way. He was like, "I'm trying to BLM, I'm trying to be nice and kneel for the anthem," and this guy's neck just. Or it could be that Kaepernick can't kneel during the anthem anymore because Chauvin took kneeling back for white people.
Took it back. He got super patriot. He like knelt down, realized there was someone underneath him. Was
God.
like, dude, I can't move right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, he knelt for the flag.
On George Floyd's neck.
George Floyd got Me Too'd by Derek Chauvin's knee.
Yeah.
He has a joke about
You know, people
Steve
that-
irwin getting Me Too'd by a manta ray.
Yeah, I said all my references are from back before Steve Irwin got Me Too'd by that stingray. He was huge over here with the kids.
Oh,
my
yeah,
God.
bet.
Was he big over there? And
Yeah,
he
massive.
had to have been, right?
Well, and it was an interesting one because we kind of had a guy before him named Malcolm Douglas, who was a real and even looked like Crocodile Dundee, like a real
Oh,
crocodile.
yeah.
But he was kind of also a bit of a piece of shit in a lot of people's eyes.
Okay.
He was a lot more exploitative and he had a crocodile farm and
Oh yeah, it's like
Stuff
Joe
like that.
Exotic,
yeah, more like that. Not as fucking,
Yeah.
not as much
not as
meth.
methy. Yeah, right.
More teeth, but definitely it's interesting. I don't actually agree with all that. For the record, I just think he definitely wasn't the Steve Irwin type.
Yeah,
But he did a lot for conservation. He did a lot for
Yeah.
crocodiles and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. He was like 70s and 80s before social media, before you
yeah,
could really
yeah.
make a
Was
lot
he
of
the one
money
giving
from
all the
doing it.
steroids to all the kangaroos to keep them strong?
No, but someone
Somebody
has
was
been. You
dosing
see
them.
those guys? Fucking
Good God.
jacked.
Do you have gender reveals in Australia?
No.
So we have them here,
Yeah.
which is weird because at the same time there's this trans stuff happening. So I thought it'd be really funny for some San Francisco couple to have a gender reveal party for their baby, invite all their friends, and then when they unveil the gender, just have it all be gray balloons and be like, "We're not saying because you're not supposed to do that."
Well, yeah.
And you're all here because you're all evil and you wanted to know if it was a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
And now
Tricked you
we're
motherfuckers.
better people than everyone at this party
I
because these are
don't-
gray balloons and you can all take one home.
Gray balloons.
How
right?
can you have a gender reveal party if gender's a made up construct?
Right.
Like it's,
So it has to be a sex reveal party.
ah,
All I have to do is change the word, right? Because now there's separate definitions, right?
genitalia reveal
Yeah,
party.
right.
Yeah. Everybody look at my baby's dick. That's
Right there on the sonogram picture that we have
Yeah.
projected on the side of the house.
The balloons go up
Yeah.
and it's a massive inflated dick.
You have to bring pink and blue balloons to the hospital as soon as the doctor pulls the baby out of the pussy and be like, "We're having actually a party right now because this is the only time we're allowed to do this." Before they have to, and then the hospital's like, "You're not actually allowed to put that on the birth certificate anymore. You have to put Jim Jeju, whatever it is now."
America, I love this place and I generally love the people, but America is responsible for some of the wackiest shit in the world.
I was telling you that Australian
Without
couple I
question.
met at Levitation were calling each other partner. And they're a married, normal, straight couple.
Yeah.
And then you said something about your wife, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude. You're the husband. She's a fucking wife."
She's, yeah.
What is this partner? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's call things what they are.
If it's a partner, then that sounds gay. That's
Yeah.
not. Even if you, so then you're a guy and a girl, and you're both being gay by saying that.
There's just so much unnecessary semantics.
Yeah. It's a way to try to convince yourself that you're actually like fighting a battle without
Yeah,
really
yeah.
fighting the battle. Like you're
We
not
all
actually going
learned-
to any effort.
We all learned sticks and stones when we
Yeah.
were little. Words can never hurt me.
Well,
And
and it
people are
also
getting hurt-
just
murdered
like
by
it's
words
so
now.
many people trying to find a reason to be different, which we did by listening to fucking emo
Yeah.
music for
Right.
5 minutes. Or, like
Yeah.
we did other things, but now it's like they've pushed it so far instead of
Radical individuality.
Yeah.
Radicalized individuality.
Yeah.
when they also as well they like we were shunned for it. Like, you go through stages when we were young at like 15, 16, and everyone would be like, what the fuck's wrong with Nathan at the moment?
Yeah.
Whereas now they're like, you have to accept me. I want laws passed. I want to
Yeah.
be in those bathrooms.
Yeah.
You know, like, we were just told to fucking go deal with our anger, you know, like, go jerk off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whereas you can't say
Play some
that to them
basketball.
because they'll be like, you don't know that I jerk off.
Yeah.
Retarded. So we have an eclipse coming up on April 8th, and this is a call to action for all Trump supporters. Trump looked at the eclipse. He's fine. So all the Trump supporters, I think we should all look at the eclipse together, and we'll be fine. Because
Yeah.
Trump did it, and he's a leader. He's leading by example. I'm calling it hashtag blind allegiance.
I did see when he did it, though, at first it started to hurt his eyes, but you need to stare right at it for a couple of minutes, and then
Yeah.
your eyes, they kind of come around.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Just ride it out. Just ride it
Push
out.
on through.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got
Yeah.
the answers in there somewhere. You got to find it.
You know, if we make them all blind, then they can't see all those Facebook posts.
They're already subject to blind faith. Now they'll be blind allegiance.
It's another weird thing you fucking Americans do. The whole politics is fucked in every country I've ever
Yeah.
heard of. But
Well,
it's
for
insane
the
here.
longest time, I mean, I was hearing about how like there was a right wing Australian prime
yeah.
minister that everybody's like he's horrible, he's terrible, and all that. And it seems like it's just like a wave that's hitting each country. We have our crazy right wing guy everywhere in the past 20 years or so.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
smattering around. And then there's that media mogul over there, too, Rupert.
Murdoch,
Yeah.
and the Packers. Have you ever? There's a book called The Fourth Turning.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, or read it. It's a great. Essentially, what it is a look at the cycles that history has been
Yeah.
in, and it predicts where you're at in this kind of cycle. And it's in terms of all what you were just saying, these right wing kind of waves that we're having, it is spot on. It's like 4 years early or whatever. But
Yeah.
this book doesn't actually give you dates. It does give you dates. They're not that specific. It maps out like a 10-year plus kind of period of like over this thing. And I think it's a few years early. I think it was supposed to be around like 2030 that all this stuff was kind of happening. But other than that, it's spot on.
Nice.
And it's you
I heard
can
about this.
see
Matt
it.
McCusker read this book. He was talking about China's going to take over or something. There's a bunch of really accurate, frighteningly accurate future predictions that are all
Yeah,
starting to-
all it is. And this is like, it's funny, like once you start reading it, you start to think, does this guy seem really smart because he's looking backwards and connecting the dots? But it's just like looking throughout history and going, okay, there was a war.
Yeah.
It's a really gay saying, but it's kind of true. That one that's like, wars create hard men.
Yeah, hard men.
It's the guy that wrote
Hard times
Starship
create
Troopers.
strong men create
Easy
good times. Good times
yeah.
create weak men
It's
create
the
hard times.
sci-fi author that wrote Starship Troopers.
Really?
Robert Heinlein.
Hard
Yeah, right.
men make gay times. Gay guys make fast times at Ridgemont High or something.
So, but it's that thing,
Yeah.
and it's applied throughout like business and life and politics
yeah.
and all
It's-
that sort of
I
stuff.
mean, it's really just kind of like statistical. I'm
Yeah.
like, because we're not that. I mean, if we haven't changed much in the past 200,000 years, and so
Yeah.
you can see how we go in cycles. And
So there's been a bunch of disasters recently. There was a bus crash, and a dump truck went into a bus and killed a bunch of kids. Hilarious.
Yay.
And so I thought it was in Houston, and my wife was talking to it with some other moms at the school carnival, and I was like being a little glib about it, like, fuck Houston, they don't
Yeah.
have good. I realized I found out they were mad at me because they were like, it was in Hayes County. It's like the next county over.
yeah,
Okay.
And I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know it was that. My kid was on a field trip that day down that direction.
Oh
Like,
shit.
he could have got fucked up. And then it just came out that dump truck driver had admitted to doing cocaine in the morning before he started a job.
really, that's come out.
Just a fucking rad move. Some fucking morning wake and bake cocaine. I mean, it's not good for being a dump truck driver, but our tow truck or whatever, concrete. It was a concrete truck. Had a lot of weight.
Hundreds, if not more, times when I was running that bar in Bali, I used to get up and start my day with a quarter of a pill of Molly,
Hell yeah.
like right before breakfast and stuff.
Yeah,
And
start
it
off
was
with a smile.
Fucking
It's like
phenomenal.
Folgers in your
This
cup.
was before microdosing was a
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fad, which I think fucking sucks. It's the gayest thing ever. Do
Yeah.
drugs properly, you cunts. But
Drink a Diet Coke. Die like a man and have a Coke, bitch.
But yeah, it we used to, because everyone drives scooters over there, so you'd get high and just like be driving around on a scooter, weaving in and out of traffic, trying not
That's
to
good.
die.
Only 2 people die.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. And then we had the bridge go down in Baltimore, which I've been over that bridge a bunch of times. And my sister is deathly afraid of bridges. All when we were little, like we went across the Golden Gate Bridge, and I was like, "Look up." It looks like it's waving around a little bit. You see the cables are fucked up there. And she's like, "Shut up, shut up." And now she's got her comeuppance. She's going to be like, "I told you." Because your whole life you think the infrastructure is good. The bridge is going to be the bridge. And all it took was a little tappy tap from a barge, and the whole shit went down.
I used to run these tours. They were snorkeling and island tours from Bali off to this island over on the coast, and there's actually 2 islands together. We used to go off, and there's this beautiful old yellow bridge connecting the islands. One, like literally 2 people can't walk side by side on this thing, and we used to take everyone across there on scooters and go jump off this cliff. Did it for years, and about 3 months after I left, people were driving over that bridge, and it collapsed into the ocean, and a bunch of cunts died. And me and my wife high-fived. We were like, "Fuck those people." It was genuinely tragic, and a bunch of people died. But we were like, "Fuck, we dodged a bullet." Because we never had insurance either for that tour company. It would have been.
I hope the bridge had insurance.
Nice.
I hope those billionaires made their money back on that bridge. They can wipe their tears.
Everything I've ever heard about Baltimore as well. Don't you want that place to be isolated? Mm-hmm. Fuck that bridge.
Yeah.
Why was there a bridge anyway?
That's why I never watched The Wire, because I'm aware that Baltimore is a piece of shit. I don't need to watch a show that tells you how horrible that place is.
I didn't realize that was where The Wire was set.
Yeah,
but
The
that
Wire
makes
is
sense.
it is all about Baltimore.
Yes,
So it's about
right.
Baltimore, like it's about the entire city. The city
Yeah.
is what it's about, really.
Yeah,
We used to go do raves there in high school because that was where all the abandoned warehouses were
Yeah.
right.
from D.C. And we could be far enough, 45 minutes away from anybody's parents finding out a bunch
Right.
of 16-year-olds were doing drugs.
Why is it such a shithole? Why is there even a city there? What is Baltimore?
knows why liars lie, Joe. It's just a shithole. So Donnell Rawlings was on Rogan last week.
Oh, did you watch that video? I saw the highlight of him talking shit about Tony Hinchcliffe, because apparently when they did kill Tony at Antone's, he walked off and he was denying it, and then Rogan called Hinchcliffe
And they
on
got
the
the
phone, and
footage.
Hinchcliffe was like, "No, we got everything. Like we have him walking out, talking to people outside, and all that kind of stuff." He's like, "No, it's because it's a black man. It's because it's a black man."
Wait, this is Donnell Rawlings?
Yeah,
Okay.
and
Really?
he said my perspective is
Yeah.
still valid at the end, even though they called him out for lying.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
what happened to me is what happened
It's
to
my
me.
truth. He pulled the my truth at the
Oh,
end of it.
go fist yourself
But
with a
they-
broken bottle. You cunt.
I'm going to
Oh,
start
that's
using
the
that. I love
worst.
that.
My
Go fist
truth.
yourself. So they were talking about busting on each other, roasting. Donald Rollins doesn't say, I don't like doing roasts. I get my feelings hurt. He said we used to do it all the time in the hood. We called it joning on each other. And Rogan was like, joning? Why was it called joning? That had to come from somewhere. And I was listening to it, and I was like, you guys are 2 comedians, and you can't put together the word Joan and roast. It was Joan of Arc. Was the original roast. She got roasted by actual friars.
Yeah.
It was a original friars roast.
Just like that guy that just saved Palestine.
Yeah, it's right under your
Right?
fucking
Set
nose.
himself on fire, and the whole world's better for it.
Dude,
Or,
I-
no, hang on. Nothing happened. That's right. Nothing happened. He died, and nothing happened.
He gave everyone who wants to make a really profound statement somebody to reference. Like,
Yeah.
watching him just made me realize that. It's on social media, like their long public
Yeah, yeah,
relations
yeah.
thing. That's what that all is.
Why didn't it make you realize that you should set yourself on fire,
Yeah,
you fucking prick?
Some guy at
Set your
here,
computer on fire, at least your phone, so you
Yeah.
stop typing this shit at me.
Something.
Yeah.
put it next to your balls so you can't reproduce.
That's what I love when people are online and they're talking about slavery or reparations or anything like that, and they're posting from a phone made by child slaves.
That's
With
so
leather
good.
shoes on, made by
Yeah.
Chinese kids.
Yeah, but especially you wear shoes to walk and all that, but these people are actually using the slave labor to post about the slave labor.
Yeah, everyone hates two-party politics until their side starts winning. So, when Trump won, I was like, fucking this is not valid. We need to have a more independent, it doesn't need to be so binary. But then these new polls are coming out where Biden's pulling ahead and Trump is going to lose money. And I'm like, yeah, okay, Democrats, cool. Suddenly
Love
I'm not
this
so
system.
against
Yeah.
Two-party.
I mean, that's history, right? Like, we've always had fair fights until our side's losing, and then
Yeah.
we're like, fucking kick him in the dick.
It's not rigged. Apparently, it's not rigged. Apparently, nobody ever.
It's not
cheated.
rigged if I win, and that's literally what Trump said. It's not rigged if I win.
Yeah.
He said that way back in 2015.
We wouldn't have so much COVID if everybody would stop reporting all these bothersome results.
Right.
Speaking of books, you know what one's great is The History of Lying and How We Fucked Everything Up. You ever
Nice.
read
I
that
haven't
book?
heard of that one. No. I'll have to pull
Phenomenal.
that one up.
Like
Basic-
it's the Bible, right?
No,
I've read that
It's
a
my
lot of
family.
times.
No, it's the book is phenomenal, and it goes to like just a bunch of like people that were clearly lying, and it cost us millions of lives.
Humans: A Brief History of How We Fucked It All Up by Tom Phillips.
That might be it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I've got it up here.
Can I see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
one, yeah.
There's some great stories in there. When like it's all these people that like clearly, I can't think of a good example now. I don't know why I got us into this, but yeah, it's these people that like the guy. He knew that lead was poisonous for everyone, and he hid it all and put
Yeah.
lead in the fuel, and the ramifications of that
Fluoride.
people don't even understand
Yeah.
like what it has done. You read that book and you're like, holy shit! Like it's responsible for millions and millions of death, but also most of the violent crime and or not
Yeah.
most, but like all the angry crime. It's made young men angry for 80 years, and
Yeah.
they track in the thing when lead come in, and they do this in hundreds of cities across the world. Lead comes in, and within a couple of years, violent crime goes through the roof,
Yep.
and then when they banned it, within a few years, it
goes
drops
down.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
People
the
cut corners.
that is one of the things that a friend of mine I mean we all have some parents who've or some relatives who have kind of just gotten crazy with this,
Yeah.
like especially with the politics
Well,
and
we all
stuff
stopped
like
using
that.
Facebook in 2016.
Because we let them all on the internet, basically.
Yeah.
We let them all have it in their hands. And one of the things we're like, maybe why they've gone so crazy is because they grew up with leaded gasoline. Maybe this is the
Yeah.
effects 50 years later. Because, you never know, right? We don't have the 50 years to see it
Yeah.
with our current technology and the way that scientific method or whatever.
Yeah, that's part of white
I mean,
privilege. is
there's-
having plumbing. We're all fucked up.
Right.
The lead.
There's so much of it like that's in regular everyday life, like making people angry. I don't think people fully understand. It's actually coming out a lot more the last couple of years, but like how much meth and everything was used in the world wars and like the
Yeah.
Nazis, and I forget his name, but like you ever see, I'm pretty sure it was an Austrian guy, but he got cut off from his regiment or whatever, and he was like boxed in kind of thing. So he was like, fuck it, took all the meth that he had and skied for like 3 days straight. And I think they end up having to cut off all his fingers and shit. But like he made it out.
Yeah.
He just like banged all this meth, fucking charged like Cocaine Bear style. Just fucking, yeah.
We were watching Poor Things. Did you watch Poor Things?
No, I haven't seen it. Is it good?
It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's really good. It's art.
Yeah.
It's well done. But it's just basically a girl with a baby brain put in her head, and then she's a baby, and then she's like, well, I'm a slut. And then she's a slut for the whole movie, and at the end, she's like, actually, I'm a doctor. And that's the whole movie.
That's actually a pretty good
Synopsis?
synopsis.
Yeah.
She's a slut in Portugal. She's a slut in France.
Yeah.
And then she comes back and she's like, well, my daddy's a doctor, and I'm just going to get to have, when he dies, I get to have the whole doctor business now.
Yeah.
I'm done whoring now. I'm a
Wow, I
doctor.
did not even consider that angle of that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of last year. Like
Really?
Emma
Yeah.
Stone won Best Actress for it. She's great.
I'm a big fan of hers.
And Yorgos Lanthimos. Did you ever see The Favorite or The Lobster?
No.
So he's just got a really
Wait, is The
unique
Lobster the
style.
short film?
No, The Lobster is with Colin Farrell. It's where like
Oh,
if you have to decide, I can't remember if when you die you become a lobster, or you have to decide.
Become
what
an
you
animal.
do.
Everybody's a different animal.
Yeah, it was weird.
Right.
He's a very weird director, but this one was awesome.
Gotcha.
But hey, let's take one more break, and
Cool.
we'll be right back.
If you incentivize someone, say they're not employed, but if you say, hey, here's some incentives to sit around and see what you can find,
Yeah.
even if what they find you can build a logical case for.
Yeah.
You can build a logical case. My fucking sister just sent me some thing. It was like this 13-minute video about how there should be 13 months in the year because of this, because of that. You can actually trace it back to when
It's the 13th warrior. It's a
well,
Viking
like the
thing.
Mayans were using, so like there's a type of turtle in Mexico and it's got 13 bits of shell on it. But like you can, like anything you can build a logical case for.
Yeah.
And it's like, why do we, Australia, they're calling the nanny state because you can't do anything. You can't go camping within 27 kilometres of paid accommodation, all this stuff. A big part of the reason that's happened is because we needed laws. We employed people to put them in place, and then those people didn't stop.
Right.
Yeah.
And they just kept making laws, and they sit around and they're like, fuck, all right, I need to get paid.
Wasn't the whole country like Alien 3? It was all prisoners.
I don't know.
Alien 3 was a prison planet, and that's
Was
what
it?
we hear
I've
from the
never
rest of
seen
the world, that England shipped all the prisoners off to Australia.
Some phenomenal history. You
Yeah.
know, one of the most amazing things I ever learned about history from another book called True Grit, which is funny, but there's your own history that's funny. But people realised very early on that on the boat ride from England to Australia, you could bribe the guards, the Navy and all that. So a lot of people, they'd be thrown on the boat as a convict, but by the time they'd gotten to Australia, they'd sucked enough dick or done
Yeah, it
whatever
sounds
they
like
do.
somebody tricked somebody into
And-
giving
yeah.
them a blowjob.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, but they'd get off in Australia
Yeah.
as, like, the famous ones are, there's this guy that got off as a governor and is known as this great Australian from the beginning. He, like, helped carve up the states. And
Yeah.
he was a convict that on the way over did
Yeah.
whatever he did and got off, and they were like,
Paid his
they
debt
just
to
changed the
society.
paperwork and were like, this guy's not a convict, he's governor, you know, so-and-so. Yeah.
The Australian blowjob economy. That's how it started.
It's from Mr. Show. The main thrust behind anti-misogyny, anti-homophobia, anti-racism is that can we all just love each other, and I think that we do already.
I think we do.
There's not a lot of people that are just super into hating. Like, you get two people, like when I was telling you about meeting Phoenix, that guy in the line. I know, granted, I was on a gummy. You know, I feel the true test of it would be if we had her on the show here, Donnie. But I looked at this person, and she could tell I was trying to look through her face setup and find the person in there.
Yeah.
And we found talking about dogs and tacos and acid, and it was all good.
That's also the other thing that I have found with anyone who is anything, you know, in that category.
Yeah.
They're all really fucking cool.
No,
they're
it was
really
me.
cool
I'm
people.
cool. I'm America's hero.
Don't you think? I mean, you look like America's asshole. Don't you think such a big problem with all of this stuff across the board, whether it's whatever, all of it, is that we're doing so much more of it more publicly than ever.
Yeah.
It used to be you'd say something retarded to your friends and your friends would be like, dude, don't be a fucking dick.
Yeah.
Whereas now people say it online, everyone else can see it and screenshot it. So not only do you get in more trouble, but people need to double down more. No one backs down online, even if you know you're wrong, because the counter argument is presented to you in such a way that you have to dig your heels in.
Well, it creeps into real life. You know, one of the good reasons to have friends is for accountability. You know, I want my friends to tell me I'm being fucking stupid. I need that,
and that's their job. And it used to be. I mean, I think you can kind of look at. Maybe there's a joke in this as well, but you definitely, I think, can look at social media as kind of like being in a bar.
Yeah.
You know, and like you have
Don't
people
talk
that
about
are there just
politics
say,
or
well, but
religion.
you have people there that are just there to hang out.
Yeah.
You have people there because they've had a bad day. You've
Trying to
had
get pussy,
all
trying to
these
get fucked
different
up.
people. And it used to be that bars were for adults and the kids had their own like places, whereas now everyone's mixing. So you think you're arguing, like, you know, some dude writes, oh, you know, this and this, and you write back, well, you're a fucking idiot or whatever, and they're like, dude, I'm 12. And you're like, oh, fuck me. Okay.
In other Australian news, are you familiar with Rebel Wilson?
Yes.
So she just came out with allegations against Sacha Baron Cohen
For some sex scene in that Brothers Grimsby, which was, I never watched it.
I've never seen it.
So the movie's directed, produced, and written by Sacha Baron Cohen.
Right.
And she was saying that he was being creepy and an asshole and asking her to stick her finger in his butt and take her clothes off. But I think every director of every movie ever has told the female star, maybe this scene would be better if you're naked, or put your finger in my butt, or let me jizz in a fern, or let me massage you with a loofah or whatever. This is old. history. And I can't see Sasha doing that unless it was funny. He was trying to serve the story.
It's such a weird.
Rebel Wilson didn't want to make a comedy movie.
She wasn't committed.
Yeah. Let me stick my finger in your butt. It's funny.
We've come a long way from, I think it was like Steve McQueen slapping that woman against the car. And
Hell yeah.
have you ever seen the rape scene with Marlon Brando? That's the one that cooks my noodle. That's fucked up. It's pretty graphic.
We got in trouble
You
for
gotta
saying
look
rape too many times on this podcast, so we
Really?
just say surprise now.
up. Okay.
That surprise scene.
Well, he's
The Last Tango in Paris?
yeah. That
was
sounds it with the the butter stick.
Was there a rape in there? Like, it's been so long.
No,
that I
it's
don't know.
no. So it's his girlfriend in the thing, but there's like he's going to use a stick of butter to lube her up.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
the
I
stick
think,
of butter
I think
scene,
what they
yeah.
told her was like he's going to like kind of like pretend or whatever, and then he aggressively like
Okay.
jams it in her kind of thing. And
Yeah. He
This whole
Weinsteined it.
I don't know. I can't even
He
remember. what I've
diddied it.
seen. We're-
Is what he did. He
Well, they
diddied
didn't
it.
yeah, they did a
Because now
diddler.
P Diddy's getting raided and shit by the FBI.
Yeah.
So he's
No
got
way
lawsuits
out.
against
Any
him.
man that changes his name that much did it.
Yeah.
Percy was P Diddy, then Puff Daddy. Now
Yeah.
he's P Diddly Diddly.
He named his album No
P.
Way
Diddy?
Out, and then he moved to a non-extradition country where they can't get. Did you get in any of those classic Australian bar brawls over there that you see on all
Been
the
a couple.
Yeah.
Been a couple. Yeah.
Is it just the end of the evening usually?
I don't
usually how
know.
things end up.
The one I was in, we had a huge fight at my cousin's 8th birthday.
Nice. Classy.
We fucking murdered those little bastards.
Bloody boomerangs
Yeah.
left and right.
Fucking
A bunch of people's 8th and final birthday. This guy at the store, I was picking up snacks on the way to work yesterday. He was ringing me up and he was like, "Side note, I really like your pants." And I was like, "Is there a not gay way to tell another man that you like his pants?" Because I can't think of one. And I looked at him and he had like a army hat on and he was dirty and he was working at a convenience store. And I was like, he doesn't look gay. But I don't think there's an ungay way to tell another man that you like his pants.
don't you just say no homo?
Yeah, they
Or I
should have
guess
said that.
no Diddy?
I don't think you can say no Diddy anymore or no homo.
No
'cause
Diddy.
then you're being non-inclusive. You have to include.
I like
everybody.
your cock. No
Yeah.
Diddy.
I like the way your pants bulge.
I like the way you work it. No Diddy.
Gotta back it up. Bag it up is what he said. I don't know.
Fag it up.
Yeah, you gotta bag it up. Yeah.
We were staying up late last night listening to hair metal that we grew up. How old are you?
Oh yeah. A lot younger than you.
Yeah.
No,
you
no.
didn't grow up with
I'm 39.
it. Okay. You didn't have Guns N' Roses. In
How old are you? Yeah, Guns N'
46.
Roses. Are you fucking kidding me? Of course.
Guns N' Roses came out when I was 12. It's perfect time
Yeah.
for like going from junior high to high, or elementary to junior high.
Right.
You had to get a jean jacket with a back patch, and the girls were into Skid Row.
Right.
Every hair metal guy, you can't say the word time in a hair metal song without going, time.
Right. Yeah.
I heard it in like 3 different songs. We were listening to Slaughter, Fly Back to the Angels, Steve Vai. We went through the whole catalog. We have a friend, we've talked about her before. She married an African guy, and it's not going well. He's from Ghana, and she was complaining about it. And I
Did
was
she
like,
marry him for the money? That's the guy in the apartment with the $40 million.
no.
No.
No, she went and got a feminist degree.
Oh.
And then she went to Africa and immediately got fell in love with their tour guide.
The most masculine person possible
Yeah.
on earth.
Yeah.
In Africa
An
too.
African, he's a king.
Do you know? Did you say where in Africa?
Ghana.
Ghana, right? You
And it's not going well, so I think they're gonna get a divorce pretty soon. But she's at home with their baby, and he took off, and she's like, "I don't want to be a shitty mom. I don't want to have 2 bottles of wine a night. I feel bad."
So
I was
she's
like-
at home with the kid, and he's a Ghana.
Yeah, he's a Ghana. But I was like, 2 bottles of wine a night is not bad. That's a standard for moms, according to every tank top I've seen at every store in America for the last 5 years. It's not a big deal. We were talking about white privilege, and I think where it kind of ended with me. No, some guy at an open mic was like making fun of old white dudes and pointed at me and Donnie. He was like, "No offense," and I was like, "You don't have to say that. We're the worst. Like Enron fucked everything for the earth, and until then, the undercurrent was white privilege is bad, but at least we got this group of bankers making
Yeah.
sure everybody can get a house." And everything's okay. They're doing superstructure, infrastructure things that are keeping everyone safe.
Right.
So it's none of your business, and just leave it alone. And then they fucked it up, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's all but wrong. White privilege is fucked, and the patriarchy's fucked, and It took Enron for everybody to go, I don't think they were taking care of us very well. I don't think it was safe.
Yeah.
No, well, it was the Enron guys, which led to everybody saying, wait a minute. All the
Should occupy Wall Street.
rich people have almost everything. Maybe we should kind of make that a big deal. And then suddenly, somehow, it became the patriarchy, and it became racism. It didn't become all of us versus that tiny little crust at the top. It became, all of us against all of us,
Well, again, there's so much money now that media truly is about clicks, and you don't need integrity, you don't need to be right. I mean, you look at the state of sports media at the moment.
Yep.
It's all these people that are fucking morons, but they say things that get clicks, and they're getting paid big bucks to do it. And I think the weaponization of basically all the causes that matter over the last decade and a half, the weaponization of feminism for a cause, and not just feminism, all these isms. Yeah.
So I went to Liberty University. It was Jerry Falwell's school in Virginia.
Do you know who Jerry Falwell is?
He's my dad's cousin.
Okay. He's another one that showed us on the
How did you get that from?
No. Who is that?
mega church, mega Christian.
Oh, okay.
So he was anybody outside of America is like, hey, all the crazy American Christians.
Yeah.
Televangelists.
He was the king of the crazy Americans.
Gotcha.
He went to this guy's college for a year.
Wait, it's not the guy that they were like, you fly a private jet or whatever.
No, that's our logo.
That's our logo. That's a guy named Keith Copeland. He's another one of those mega church pastors.
Yeah.
But Jerry Falwell was the most politically powerful of all of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I got in trouble at Liberty for putting a gay rainbow flag on Jerry Falwell's Suburban. And they had this meeting, and we had to they said they knew who it was, and we were like, you don't know shit. So my new venture is I'm going to find Greg Abbott and put a I stand with Ukraine sticker on his wheelchair. See if I can get away with having a I stand sticker on this guy's.
That was a good tweet. We our account had a good I stand with Ukraine with a picture of Greg Abbott in his wheelchair.
There was another Trump thing in the news yesterday, that he shared an image of Biden hogtied. As soon as I read that headline, I knew exactly what it was, because you can't take a picture of traffic in the South without a tailgate of a truck with that wrap on it of Biden tied up in the trunk.
Right.
They're everywhere. So whether he did it on purpose or was being malicious,
he did it to get the exact reaction that he got, which gets him more attention.
But he didn't post that picture. He retweeted a picture someone else did of one of those trucks somewhere.
Right.
So it wasn't as malicious as they made. They always overdo all this stuff and make it sound like.
Do you remember there was a
Mexican bloodbath?
I guess during his first term. I'm already calling it his first term, but there was he retweeted a GIF that somebody had made from when he was on wrestling. He was on WWE, and he was beating up a guy, and over the guy's face they put the CNN logo.
Oh, I don't remember.
And then CNN said he's threatening journalists because he retweeted this. They tracked down the guy who made the GIF and basically kind of threatened to give all of his information out unless he apologized. And so he apologized, and they said we're not releasing his name.
He apologized,
unless things change. Is basically they threatened him for that. There's enough real bad stuff that the guy's doing and saying that we don't have to take individual little sound clips and then decide it's a completely different context. It's almost one of those it doesn't matter what you do to the devil, you're always right because he's evil and wrong all the time.
It's like people saying I got raped at the Hyundai dealership, and then you have an actual rape victim. Like, you didn't get raped at on the price of anything. I thought of this joke today after a nap. I woke up and I was thinking about how people yell help when they're being raped. But in India, you could hear a guy yelling, help, rape. And then you could come around the corner and he's like, can you help me? I'm trying to rape this woman. Help with this rape, please. This is a group effort. And then somebody posted on r/Austin, where's the best avocado toast brunch, which is the most cunty thing I've ever heard in my life. You can make avocado toast at home. The instructions are in the name.
Yeah.
The only reason you would order that in public is if you're a twat and you're trying to virtue signal. Like, I go out to eat to try new stuff.
Well, and also you could have so easily Googled that. Like, it's not specific enough where you're like, hey, there's a few places that say they do gluten-free fucking,
What are you looking
Flipping
for in the best avocado toast brunch place? Somewhere on a sidewalk where everyone walking by can see you eating that.
Yeah.
I need visibility maximum.
Your avocado toast has to come with a flag that says "I'm a cunt."
So you have a favorite band? What kind of music do you listen to growing up?
I listen to good music.
Yeah, only.
Favorite band? Yeah, I mean, I grew up on hip hop, and then Australian rock. I grew up in a small Indigenous community, like I was saying, and moved down to, let's say, a regular town, when Silverchair. Do you guys remember them?
Yeah. They were exactly my age. They were like
No
the
way.
little like the 13 and 14
Yeah.
year olds that somehow, because they adopted the whole, I was like, they were going for whatever was grunge or whatever alternative at the time.
Handsome.
Yeah, so I moved down when they blew up, kind of like the year, and it was the biggest thing in Oz because Daniel Johns, the singer, was like 14 or whatever, and so like just everyone that you knew all of a sudden wanted to be a singer and be in a band, so Silverchair.
It's Tame Impala now. They're taking over the world.
Sorry?
Tame Impala is now the biggest. And they're so busy getting hired to do soundtracks that they haven't made an album in 5 years.
Actually, there's been a lot of really good, mostly kind of rock music coming out of Australia in the past like 10 or 15 years. I mean, we had Tame Impala come out. We had a bunch of those kind of bands.
There was one, they're from Perth. A friend of mine, they're divorced now, but married the lead singer. His name was Cav. You remember the song Black Fingernails, Red Wine? Black fingernails, red wine. That's exactly how it sounds. I nailed that. That was fucking spot on.
This is a karaoke show now.
Anyway, yeah, we've definitely had a bunch of good rock bands over there.
Then the number one, like what I guess would be considered a jam band these days, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah,
never heard of them.
Oh man, they're like the new Grateful Dead. They have diehard people who follow them everywhere they go. I went and saw them for 2 shows in at Red Rocks in Denver. Last year. The Rock's been coming out of Australia since the beginning. I mean, AC/DC, come on.
I was in, I think maybe it was the first year that I moved to Bali, so 2009, and there was this place called Deus, like a bar, restaurant, cafe kind of thing, and Wolf Mother played a concert up in Jakarta, and the guy that owned Deus was it was in a place called Canggu, which now is a huge, like, it's really built up, but back then it was mostly rice paddies and everything. And the guy that owned the place, one of them was a photographer, so he shot the show in Jakarta. He shot the photos, and somehow I think Wolf Mother kind of wanted their like Red Hot Chili Peppers on that roof in LA. They wanted like their moment kind of thing. So they flew down and they played a show out the back of this little bar, like next to these rice paddies and stuff. And my housemate at the time opened for, he was a drummer, so he opened for him. And when we went down, we found out like 2 hours before, when we went down there was like 30 people. And by the time that they came on stage, there was like thousands packed in. And by the end of the night, there must have been like 10,000 people up and down the road, like all around everything.
Nice.
It was insane, yeah.
Well, why'd you leave Bali? Why would anyone leave?
My wife's from Toronto, and she wanted to be close to her
Thank you for your
family.
service.
I have a joke about it. I don't know if I did it when you were there, but it's a long lead-in with other stuff, but then it's like, and coming to America, you know what you have... what is it? It's like
you wanted to come to America and meet an American girl, and they gave you the discount version.
That, but yeah, we wanted to be closer to her family, but then without living in Canada or America because of the winters and the visas and all that. So we end up in Central America. We're like a 5-hour flight from Toronto, as opposed to before it was like a 30-hour journey. It was a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
So you moved to Austin to do comedy, but you don't believe in kill toning.
I never said I don't believe in it.
Okay, I don't.
Oh, actually, no, I did say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It's ridiculous.
I don't believe in golden tickets in any
Those
industry.
people get hooked up and get, you have a better chance of getting on stage if you buy a ticket and you're in the room.
But no, I believe in that. But I think, so let me word it. I think you shouldn't get a golden ticket until you're ready.
Yeah.
And because
yeah.
it's a lot of people that don't have a full, like I've done shows. I did one I don't want to. No one's gonna know.
Those
them
golden
anyway.
ticket people have never been heckled, and they send them on the road.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fucked up.
100% what I mean.
It's not gonna
And
be
like,
good.
I did a show. So one of my first ever shows that people had paid real money, like $80+ was in Florida last year, and it was supposed to be three people. One of them was this guy Peter Wong, hilarious. I forget the other someone, but they were like writers for, I think, Conan, and like they had careers.
Yeah.
And then someone pulled out, so there was half an hour up for grabs, and I got to do 15 minutes
Nice.
of it, and they gave it to this other guy. The other guy that they gave it to walked out, and he walked out up there, and he was after me, and after like 3 minutes, he goes, "All right, that's all I wanted to do tonight," and walked off.
Okay.
And I was the host.
Good
had
thing you're a
like
story guy.
yeah, well, the host had already like run out, so I was going to go back up, but then it was awkward, and so the guy just like freaked out, and so he put the mic in the stand and walked off. So the whole crowd was sitting there for like a few minutes while I grabbed the host and was like, "Hey, he's just bailed." But that's the thing, like I think I do believe in the golden ticket thing, but I don't believe in giving it to people too early. And look, some people are going to be like, "Yeah, but some people make it work." Very, very rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely. Too many people. And I think it ruins comedians as well. Like you see these people, they disappear generally, like they stop doing comedy or they take years to get back.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be the comedy capital of the world if it wasn't for Kill Tony and the Mothership.
Yeah.
But what he said he wanted to do here was make a fixed version of the store.
Right.
And there's all these stories about the store and people that kill themselves because they didn't get picked or pulled or passed. Like it was a big deal. And there was a track in Hollywood in the 70s. You go to the store, someone from NBC sees you, you go on Carson, you do well, he interviews you, and then you get a sitcom.
Right.
And so people are treating Kill Tony like that now.
Yeah.
I got to move to Austin. I got to get on Kill Tony, and then I'll be famous.
There's only so much that I think Tony and Joe and all that can do, because at the end of the day, all these comedians want the fast track. None of them want to put in that much work.
Yeah.
Like the amount of them, I've spoken to people hanging out outside there that don't know what they're going to do when they go up there. And I don't mean like they've got a ton of jokes.
my first time.
Yeah, like I don't mean like I've got an arsenal of jokes and
Yeah.
I'm going to like see how the crowd's feeling and all that. No, they're like, oh, I don't really have like... I've got this bit that I tried the other night and it kind of bombed, but I think I fixed it and all this stuff. And I'm like... Yeah, again, if you win that golden ticket, you're fucking it up for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's not that I don't believe in Kill Tony or think that it's a great pathway and everything, but I just think, and I don't have the answer either.
Yeah.
So, but I think if there was a way to kind of filter it out a bit of like, maybe there was another show, like say on a Wednesday, and they picked like the best 30 people from that.
Maybe if there's a show in February at a junkyard that everybody could come to in South Austin,
like
that'd be pretty good.
Well, fucking organize it.
We're working
What are you
on
doing
it.
with your life?
We're working. That's
Sitting
what I'm doing with
around
my
here fucking bullshitting on this fucking...
I mean, I'm doing all I want with comedy. I like to hang out in shitty
Yeah.
rooms and have a beer and meet weird Australian guys.
I honestly, don't get me wrong for a second, I'll never play down. I would love for it to go somewhere, for sure. But I talk with my wife about it all the time. I feel lucky. I feel like I'm living it.
Yeah.
I don't work
There's
as
Hollywood
such.
here.
All I do is I get up, I go to cafes, I write jokes, I go out that night, perform, hang out with other comedians.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, I feel like I'm living. Yeah, I feel.
Those are what
Amazing.
everybody always, the ones who do have success, they always look back at those days saying those were the best times. you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, you might as well just hang out in the best times that everybody agrees on, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think like, it's not so many jobs, doesn't matter what it is you do, but so many jobs, the reason that you get into it is 10% of it.
Yeah.
And that's comedy for me. And I hate writing. I don't like doing it. And hopefully I get to a point where I'm good enough and got enough pull where I don't need to spend hours every day writing. I can't wait to get to that point. But like, you see all these people that are at this stage where I'm at and they just refuse to do that stuff, and I'm like, nah, man, like enjoy that. Go sit in the cafe.
I do my best writing when I'm like almost unconscious or just woke up for some reason.
Yeah.
There's something about that zone.
Dude, find your thing. I
of
like I have
abstract.
crazy ADHD,
Yeah.
and some days I'll go in. So I've got like these big over ear like Bose. Some days I'll be in a cafe. I'll have my AirPods in with a podcast on. I'll have those over with rain sounds playing, and I'll have like a book open that I can kind of read
Yeah.
and write, and I'll have all that going on, and that's when I'll get good ideas. Or like some days it's a nightmare trying to get anything done.
Yeah.
But like what you were saying, like I do sit there and I'm like, fuck, I'm not back working on an oil rig. Or I used to dig holes in the desert in
Yeah.
Western Australia. I'm like, no, this is sick.
Well, it sounds like
Sitting
you've got
in
a lot of
cafe.
good stories, and we'd love to have you back on if you could be available.
I'm busy.
Yeah, forever.
I'm going to kill Tony.
I'm going to kill myself.
He's washing his hair at Kill Tony.
I'll come back anytime.
Yeah.
That
Well,
was
you know
that
where
was the
Woodrow's
most
is.
offensive. For anyone listening, I'm bald. So
Yeah.
when he just said washing my hair at Kill Tony,
That just makes it an even
jackass.
better excuse. I can't. I'm washing my hair. It's even more insulting.
my back hair.
We're trying to build a South Austin comedy scene so that we can be lazy and not have to park downtown.
Fair enough.
And there's been a lot of mics come and go south, and none of them have worked out. So I think we have to meet halfway.
It's-
And do
how
like
many
a-
bedrooms has this place got? Just all you got to do is we'll just start having them here.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
just
nice big
the
yard. out
comedy
here.
flop house with the
Yeah.
backyard. Yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
show you the backyard.
Well, his 3 of his bedrooms are full of girls on Sibians right now making money so that he can pay the mortgage.
They're
That's why the
sitting
lights
there
keep
Andrew
dimming.
Tate.
desperate Ukrainian women.
That's
They're
why the
just trying
lights.
to get away. They're just trying to get away.
Yeah,
It's like,
he can-
hey, I got 3 rooms and 3 Sibians.
He convinced them to come over, and that's sex trafficking. You're not allowed to ask a girl to come to your
Yeah.
house anymore. That's why the lights keep dimming. Is because there's.
So Nathan Johnson from Australia is your Instagram handle.
Yes, it is.
Where can we see you? Where can we hear you?
Just go to Instagram, Nathan from Australia. That's just go there, and I post it all there. But during the weeks, every Wednesday night, I'm at Lucky Ducks. Lucky Ducks. I try to get on. They've got the 2 shows there, 6 and
Yeah.
8 o'clock. So it's a good night for comedy. And
We'll get the 6th
Yeah.
one because we're going to see Heath, our friend, got a 5-minute spot at Vulcan Wednesday night.
oh, sick,
So
cool.
we bought $20 tickets to see our friend do 5 minutes. I was like,
That's
"Run the
cool.
light, man! There's a bunch of people coming to see you."
Yeah. We'll only laugh
Awesome.
at you.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you very much. This
Yeah.
was fun.
Thanks for coming on.
yeah, dude.
And we'll talk to you next week.
You.